Hello and welcome back to my walkthrough series of the Cicada Detroit ARG. I know it's been a while, but I'm back, so let's pick it up where we left off with puzzle 38, the first in-person puzzle. Now, as you will recall, we left off with a form you had to fill out. You put in your username, email, and your address, and then you are awaiting a package in the mail. And on June 1st, those packages will get mailed out, and over the next couple days they would arrive. The package contained an envelope that looked something like this. You can see this has my username on it. I have put a sticky note on here to cover my actual address. You can see that it came from cicadadetroit.com. If that'll focus. There, it focused. You see it came from cicadadetroit.com. You'll also notice that there is a lot of glitter in this bag, and that is because this was also a glitter bomb. There was a ton of glitter hidden inside the package. Fortunately for myself, I was not the first person to receive it, so I had warning that there was glitter in it. But, yeah, feel bad for whoever opened theirs first. I don't remember who exactly that was. But thank you for warning the rest of us about the glitter. Now, real quick, before we continue, I forgot to mention at the start, but this video is going to talk a lot more about the experience of the puzzles, not just how to solve the puzzles themselves, because I think that is a key part of doing the in-person puzzles, is actually being there and experiencing it. So, while I can't give you the exact experience, I'll do my best with pictures and Google Street View and whatever other tools I have to show you and describe the experience of the weekend, both for round 1 and round 2, and also the subsequent all-online versions that were made available in late December. Now, back to the glitter bomb envelope. Inside of the envelope, besides the glitter, there was also this floppy disk. It was inside of a small Ziploc bag to protect it from the glitter. I kept that bag, but I have no idea where it went, so you'll have to use your imagination. But it's just a small Ziploc bag. So we have this disk. Now, my computer here does not have a floppy drive, but fortunately, I have some older ones that do. So we are now going to cut to a different camera. Alright, and that other camera is my phone. And the other computer is this really old Windows ME Gateway laptop, which happens to have a floppy drive. So, take our disk, put that in, open Windows Explorer, go to the floppy drive. You'll see we have a single file. It's called README. We'll open that. And here you can see it says 08012025, 2 spaces, 193519. The above is the date and time to meet. Use it to decode back to the location below. Then we have a cipher. We will now go back to the other computer. Alright, we're back on the other computer. And here you'll see we have our readme.txt file again. We have our ciphertext. And it should come as no surprise that we're going to go to decode and ask it to analyze this. We get a few results, and these aren't amazing, but it's partly because the ciphertext isn't very long, and also because there's a lot of ciphers that match this format, the format being a polyalphabetic substitution cipher, like the Vigenère cipher. In this case, we're actually looking at a Gronsfield cipher. We'll go there, paste in our ciphertext, and remember we had a key here. Take that key, hit decrypt, and we see we have det pint of origin, or Detroit point of origin. And you'll remember that the Detroit point of origin was a location we saw in one of the puzzles, specifically puzzle 33, and now we have a location. So going back to that note, see that this is a date and time. So this is August 1st, 2025, 19:35 and 19 seconds, so 7:35 p.m. Now I said this was a Gronsfield cipher, but this is also a date shift cipher, which is just a specific version of the Gronsfield cipher. The key also happens to be a date. You shift every letter in your message by the values in the date. Where a Gronsfield cipher is just the same thing, but the key doesn't have to be a date, it's just any number. And the principle of how it works is the same as a Vigenère cipher, except instead of using letters, you're using numbers for your key. So now we have a date, a time, and a location. We have finished puzzle 38.1, and now for puzzle 38.2, we just need to be at that location at that time. Alright, so now fast forwarding to August 1st, we need to be at the point of origin marker, which is in Campus Martius Park. Specifically, it is right here, right in front of Park. Now, of course, we didn't need to be here until 7:35 p.m. So I personally met up with a number of my friends beforehand to get dinner. You see in the photo here, we have Brighton Cake / Essor, her husband. We have Rec, Jackrabbit, and his girlfriend, and then also me. And it was really great finally getting to meet people in person. And then after dinner, we headed over to the point of origin marker. See in the video here, it is right in front of the doorway. So it's not exactly an appropriate place to be standing and waiting around. So instead of standing there, a bunch of us were actually waiting over here on the other side of the fountain with all the tables and chairs here. This area here, we were all hanging out in this spot. I have some pictures of it, I'll show them now. And it's funny, because as we were sitting there, more and more people from the puzzles were showing up. We'd see somebody like walking towards the area from a distance, and we'd all be guessing like, is that a cicada person? Is that somebody else? And we were pretty good at knowing which people were actually there for the puzzle, having never seen each other in real life before. Or even photos of each other for that matter. Also, huge shout out to Omnichrome for making these 3D printed cicada keychains that he passed out to everyone at round 1. Let's see on the back. Oh, that's upside down. See in the back there, it says Cicada Detroit. This is a nice two-tone 3D print. So again, thank you for making these for everyone. And then this guy Rob showed up with some serious camera equipment and started recording interviews of people. And then before you knew it, it was 7:35 and we all got up and walked over towards the entrance of the building where we saw Bugdad XIX for the first time, and he had us all move over to the other side. You'll see here on the map on the side of the building so they weren't blocking the entrance. Alright, and at this point we all got waivers to sign, and XIX gave a bit of a speech, thanked us all for coming out, laid out the ground rules for the weekend. Basically, you know, the basic legal stuff. Don't do anything illegal, don't go anywhere you shouldn't go, yada yada. And then we got these packets. The packets looked like this. Green envelope. It had each person's username, and then it said 38.2 of 42 on it. And then they also had a little wax seal. I peeled it off, but here's the wax seal for mine. It's a little hard to tell, but it's actually, especially when it won't focus, but it's actually a cow. There, you can kind of see it there. Oh, that reminds me. I completely forgot to mention it earlier, but the package that came in the mail also had a wax seal on it. Looked like this. You can see it's a pair of cicadas, which is pretty cool too. Big fan of these. But yeah, I peeled them both off to save them. But anyhow, the folder. Once everyone had signed their waivers and received their packets, we were then allowed to open them. Inside, you'll find a single sheet of paper that looks like this. It says, "Visit the cow." The cow says, and you have a whole lot of the word moo with various capitalization. At the bottom, you'll see that there is an ASCII art cow. And at this point, we are off with puzzle 38.2. Now, a lot of people headed straight to the cow. Myself, and at least one other person, JG Yaklik, maybe there was others, but I only saw one person besides myself, stuck around to actually work on the code. Well, first I grabbed a selfie with XIX, but then I sat down at one of the tables to start working on this cow code. Now, this would be the most tedious part of the entire in-person puzzles, because you're going to need to get this code from the page into your computer or into your phone. You'll not be able to work with it on paper. Now, there's a few ways you could do this. You could type it out manually, all by hand. You could wait till midnight, because at midnight, a digital copy of this packet was getting emailed out to all the players that qualified for round 1, so that anyone that missed the meetup could still participate that weekend. Or you can try optical character recognition, or OCR. It's not going to work, at least fully. There's a lot of text on this page, and it's not very big, and it's not English. A lot of OCR tools have some built-in error correction, where if a letter gets read in wrong, it can look at the surrounding word and go, oh, that's a typo, let me just fix that automatically. And it'll do that stuff for you. None of that's going to work in this case, because it's just the word moo a million times with varying capitalization. But you can still work with OCR. It'll be difficult, but if you get a good scan of the page and read it in, there's still going to be mistakes in it. You'll have like zeros where there should be capital O's, or a lowercase c where it should be a lowercase o, or an N instead of an M. But you can fix those. You can use a find and replace tool like in Notepad++, or pretty much any text editor for that matter. Like replace every 0 with a capital O, every lowercase c with a lowercase o, every N with an M with matching case, and so on. And if you're lucky, you'll get working code. And if not, well, you can either type it all out by hand, which I know a number of people did, or you can wait until midnight and get the digital file, which I know some other people did. In any case, you need this in your computer. And once you have it there, you need to decode it. So, what is this? What are we looking at? If we search for cow and cipher, second result, really both of the first two results, are about an esoteric programming language called cow. I'm going to use the second one here from Cache Loop. Now, cow is a programming language where every single symbol in the whole language is just the word cow, or sorry, just the word moo, with various capitalization. So depending on how you capitalize each letter determines which function you're actually invoking. And this is a variant of the classic SOLang, which I'm not going to say the name of in this video. Now, once you have your cow code in your computer, simply paste it in to the ciphertext box, hit decrypt, and you'll see that it says the code is 3379. Alright, now we need to actually go visit the cow, like it said on the page, and see where we can use that code. Alright, so leaving the point of origin marker, we now need to go to the cow head on Mac Avenue. We search for cow head, it should just pop up. There it is, giant cow head. So, see it's about a 15-minute drive, 6 miles. Head over there. We'll arrive here at the cow head. Looks like this, as you'll remember. Arriving on site, it'll look something like this. This was approximately 8 o'clock, I believe. See a number of players standing around working on their phones as they were trying to decode the cow code. And here you'll see Cake hunched over next to this little planter box with the sunflowers here. And what you can't see is that right in front of her is a small lockbox. A lockbox that looks like this. It's got a cicada on it. It had a loop on it. I don't have the loop. But this is the lockbox. That little... Alright, it was stuck. It looks like that. So now we will type in our password of 3379. Then you pull on the little lever here, and it pops open. Now this is pretty dirty because this is the box from round 1. It sat outside until round 2. And I didn't steal this. XX gave it to me. But there's some pieces of paper in there. Oh, they're falling out. And then also a big QR code taped in the back. For a less crusty version of this, I'll close this back up. The paper would have looked like this. It says take 1, close lockbox, shuffle numbers, you are being watched. And there was in fact a camera rigged up at the cow where XX could watch us. So we have a QR code here, and the QR code takes us to this page. I'm not going to try to pronounce the URL, but the page says, come grab a drink where this phrase was once uttered, the phrase being that word in the URL. That word is Polish, and it translates to thank God in English. And this is a reference to the Painted Lady bar that we saw in Puzzle 12. Back when the bar was called Lily's 21, it was operated by Lily Karkowski, a Polish immigrant, hence the Polish influence in the bar and the Polish phrase here. Further, there are clues in the HTML which point to the intersection of Joseph Campo Avenue and Jacob Street, where the bar is located. I would show you that, but the page has been updated. I'm not sure if it's still in there. Let me check that real quick. Okay, ignore the left side of the page. I've blocked it out, so no spoilers for the online version of this puzzle. But you'll see here, location, this ID tag on this div is location Joe and Jacob. So there's your extra hint that it is the Painted Lady that you need to go to. And then going from the giant cowhead to the Painted Lady, it's another 6 miles, 14 minutes. I will also say this road right here in particular, what is this, Mount Elliott Street? This road is terrible. Pretty sure this is the one I'm remembering. This road is just like one giant pothole. Like, there's more pothole than road. It's terrible. If you can avoid this, don't drive on that road. And getting over to the Painted Lady, this road, Joseph Campo, is, or rather was, I don't know if it still is, but it was under construction. Like, you could not get to the bar from like anywhere through here. You had to come through the neighborhood here, down these one-way streets, and try to find a spot to park. And then even when you got there, parking is limited. I think I parked over by this gas station here, if I remember right. But yeah, here's the bar here. If you don't recall what it looks like, it looks like this. Very colorful building. Of course, by this point, it is getting dark out and the sun is going down. And if you haven't been here before, it is a nice little bar, great place to hang out with friends. Have some photos here from the inside when we met up. And then also we had XX was there waiting for us all, and also Rob, the camera guy, was there as well. And around the bar, you can find these little coasters. See, like in the photo here. And I have one of them here. The coasters look like this. You can see it here. Cicada. You have 4 QR codes. And scanning this QR code takes you to puzzle 39.1. So we're going to save that for the next video. So that concludes puzzle 38, at least the version of it that was in round 1. We now get to talk about the differences between round 1 and round 2. Alright, so the first difference with round 2 is that the floppy disk readme is different. We'll see we have a different date at the top. Instead of August 1st, 2025, it's now December 12th, 2025. The time is still the same. And we'll see that the ciphertext is also different. We'll take that ciphertext, go back to decode, paste that in, using the same cipher as before. Take our new key, paste that in, hit decrypt, and you'll see that we still get Detroit point of origin. So the location is unchanged. Oh, and there was one other difference with the packet. There was no glitter bomb in round 2 as far as I'm aware. But otherwise, the contents of the package were completely the same. Alright, now, one of the big differences with round 2 is that it was in December, so it was very cold. Which, if you haven't noticed, I have changed my clothes and I'm now wearing a coat, hat, and such to convey the vibe of round 2. It was very cold and windy in December. You'll see in this photo of the round 2 meetup that everyone is wearing hats and coats. It's because it was very cold. And shout out to Saturn91 for showing up with this awesome Cicada backpack. And a few players from round 1 also showed up to the meetup for round 2. Here we have Rec, Brighton, and my good friend Sounds, who was finally able to meet in person. Now the meeting went mostly the same. Once again had the waivers, and then there was the packets with the cow code. However, being that it was December and the time the puzzle starts, 7:35 p.m., the sun was already gone. The puzzle had to be changed a little bit. That time of year, it's not really safe to be sending people out to the Mr. Wilson building in the dark. Area gets a little sketchy. So the page with the cow code was a little different. I don't have a physical copy of it, but I'll show you on the computer what it looked like. Alright, so here's the page from round 2. It says, do not visit Mr. Wilson, but he has a message for you. You have cow code again, and then once again we have the ASCII art cow at the bottom. We will copy all of this. And now real quick, I forgot to mention earlier, but this ASCII art cow is not random. The original page, which is now only archived on the Wayback Machine, but the original page, website for this esoteric programming language, had this cow ASCII art at the bottom. Anyhow, back to Cache Sleuth. Paste in our new code. We'll hit decrypt, and we'll see that it says Love Lock Fence 3379. So the code is still the same, however, we are no longer going to the Mr. Wilson location to find the lockbox. So, where is this lockbox? Where is the Love Lock Fence? Well, if we do a Google search for Love Lock Fence Detroit, we'll get a couple results. There is the Love Lock Fences in Parker's Alley. There's also the Love Lock Bridge, the Bagley pedestrian bridge over I-94. And as it turns out, these are both perfectly valid options because there is more than one lockbox hidden for this round. Now, had you chosen to go to Parker's Alley, you had just 0.3 miles to go from the point of origin marker, 7-minute walk if you chose to walk it. Fun coincidence, the very first picture of Parker's Alley is the Love Lock Fence. Well, one of them, there are 2 in the alley. But here's a good view of what the alley looks like. And then on the walls, in 2 different spots, there will be fence pieces like this with a bunch of locks on them. Here's what one of them looked like. I'm pretty sure this is the one that everyone from round 2 went to. I don't think anyone went to the second one. I don't think anyone went to the one on the Bagley Bridge either. But I'll show you what that looks like as well in a minute. Yeah, this was one of them. This photo was actually from the night taken by one of the players. I don't remember who specifically took the photo though. And then the other one looked like this. And those are the 2 in Parker's Alley. The Bagley Bridge is a bit further away at 2.7 miles or 9 minutes of driving. If you go there, on the bridge, there's a lot of locks attached to the fences on the side of the bridge. And right about around here, I think it was, is where the lockbox was. Here's a picture of what the bridge looks like from the side. And then also here's the lock on the bridge itself. Now, it didn't matter which of the 3 lockboxes you went to, they all have the exact same papers inside of them. The same QR code from round 1. I have another example here. So here's the paper from the lockboxes in round 2. It's exactly the same, other than slightly bigger for some reason. Other than that, it's identical from what we had from round 1. Takes you to the exact same page, which gives you the riddle to lead you to the Painted Lady. Meanwhile, while all the round 2 players were running around outside in the cold, the players from round 1 who returned, we were all waiting at the Painted Lady for the meetup. And while we were waiting there, a number of people decided to try some of the drinks that had showed up in the puzzles. The Valiums, and also the other one with the Polish name that I can't pronounce. I don't drink, but I will let Sounds do the describing of what they tasted like. She said that Valiums were strong but tasty, definitely a sweeter drink. And the other one was very sweet and tasted like cherry cold medicine. This time, instead of waiting until midnight to send out a digital copy of the packet, Bugdad decided to share it with all the participants on Discord at about 9:23 p.m. due to the cold and harshness of the weather, and the fact that the first place prize had already been claimed by this point. There was no reason to really delay on sending that out. Speaking of, the vibe of round 2 was quite different from round 1, as you'll see me talk about it several times in the upcoming videos as well. Round 1 I would characterize as like a mad sprint, everyone really rushing to see how quickly you could get to the end. Everyone wanted the prize, of course. Round 2, with the grand prize already claimed, it was much more laid back. People took their time and took breaks to eat, drive safely from location to location, instead of trying to get everywhere as fast as possible. But we'll talk about that more in the upcoming videos. Everyone from round 2 was able to make it there that night, and it was great to see everyone and chat with everybody. Once again, we had the QR codes on the coasters, and I didn't mention this previously, but the page it takes you to has an implied time gate, which we'll talk about in the next video. But that's why no one was rushing to leave the Painted Lady, because there was nothing else to do that night, so we were all able to just hang out and celebrate and wait till the next day to get back at it. And that was true for both rounds 1 and 2. And also, as a side note, during round 2, while we were there, I hid a geocache in the Painted Lady with permission. If you haven't found it yet, something to look for. There is a logbook inside where you can sign your name. And now, we have finished talking about the round 2 part of Puzzle 38. We can now talk about the online exclusive portion of it. Actually, I lied. Before we talk about the online stuff, I can mention that the distance from Parker's Alley to the Painted Lady is 5.5 miles, or 12 minutes of driving. And from the Bagley Bridge, it is 7.5 miles, or 13 minutes. Alright, now we can talk about the online version of the puzzle. Alright, so on December 18th, this page was updated to be fully online accessible, so that if any players reached Puzzle 38 between the end of round 2 and New Year's Day, which is the official end of Cicada Detroit, they would still be able to participate and complete the game. So here it says, in the original 2025 puzzle, the page below showed a congratulations message and a now decommissioned form, which would submit the player's details to mail a floppy disk to their home. On that floppy disk was the below file. Here we have a README. Open that. We have the contents from the round 2 puzzle, December 12th, with the ciphertext from the round 2 puzzle. Back on the page, it says this message decoded to the date, time, and place where the in-person puzzles began, which we've already seen. At this location, at the date and time, players were given a printout of the following document. Here we have cowcode.docx, which is a Word document. We'll see that we have the cow code again. You can copy from the page here, put it into Cache Sleuth, it'll decode. Well, I'll show it. Just copy that, go back to Cache Sleuth, clear everything out here, copy that, paste it in, hit decrypt, Lovelock Fence 3379. We get the phrase from the round 2 puzzle. The password is the same between both rounds. If we go back to the webpage, it says in the first round of in-person, the decoded message told them to find Mr. Wilson, where the lockbox was hidden. In the round 2, the decoded message, we can see here a picture of the lock from the Bagley Bridge, led them to one of 3 Lovelock locations in Detroit, where they would find the lockbox with the Cicada logo. We enter the code 3379. Hit enter. And it gives us a copy of the QR code that you would have found on paper in the lockbox. Now, I just found out that you can do this in Snipping Tool. We'll take a snip of this. Get that back on the screen. Now hit text actions. It'll give you the ability to copy the text, but also it reads the QR code, which is super cool. So I'm going to save this picture and upload it to a tool online or use my phone. Just copy link. We'll go there. And now for 38.3, we have, for the in-person puzzle, this page redirected the user to follow the clue below. Come grab a drink where this phrase was once uttered. Enter the location the above is referencing. And remember, it's that Polish word again. And as we saw before, if we inspect the page, we can find the div with the ID, location, Joe, and Jacob. Now, if we type in Lily's 21, hit enter. I just typed it in all lowercase, didn't use any punctuation or any spaces. The page now updates. Let's get rid of that. The page now updates. You get a picture of the front of the bar. It says, once they arrived, in order to drink, they will be served on the following coaster. Here we have a picture of the coaster. And scanning this QR code takes you to Puzzle 39, Part 1, which we will pick it up with next time. So that includes the online version of Puzzle 38. Alright, and that concludes Puzzle 38. We've covered Round 1, the differences with Round 2, and the online version. It's a bit of a longer video, I know. It's outside the typical 10 to 15 minute range I target for these. Now, I know it's not the mega video we did for 37, but still on the longer end. I hope you enjoyed. If I missed anything in this video, or if you have photos or something that I didn't get captured very well, please send them to me. I'll make sure to put them at the start of the next video. Don't want to miss anything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.